Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Hope everybody is doing okay on this lovely Sunday afternoon. And yeah, I'm back with more autographs. I haven't been to the car boot this weekend. Had a dinner out with some friends yesterday, and also I needed a day off today. But I'm back without Toy Hall, but autographs, which is great because obviously that's part of my hobby as well. This is my first thing I do, so this is my main hobby. Hi Gwaz, thanks for coming in on YouTube. Hope you're doing okay. And without further ado, I'm going to be showing you some more of my folders, some more of my autographs from my first folder. So, starting off, this is where we left off last time. Now, this is an autograph from one of the original English gladiators. This is Cobra. He opened up a leisure centre nearby where I used to live, and yeah, they didn't actually have pictures at all. So this was what I got signed. So I can't remember whether I had it with me or whether they had pads, but that's Cobra. And someone from a bit of the past here. I don't know if you can pick it up on. I'm having fun with this camera, but this is Sean Maguire. He was in Grange Hill. He's been in EastEnders, and he's been doing some movies as well. So, sorry, I've just realised it's not on Instagram properly. I was looking at the YouTube bit, but yeah. So it's Sean Maguire. Next we have the band East 17. Now, I wrote off to the management and asked if you know, for an autograph, and I got one. And this is for a picture from the record company, and I don't know whether it was from the management or the record company. So that's pretty cool. And the next one, this is John Reid from the Nightcrawlers. Again, I would write off for these. Actually, I'm not sure if this one might have been from. No, I think this one might have been from Fully Booked, because of the autographs I showed before. I got autographs from the people that were on the show, which included this young lady here, Michelle Gale, singer, actress she was in EastEnders, she was in Grange Hill. Michelle was the one I was supposed to be asking a question for. Cannot remember what the question was, but because they ran out of time, I got autographs from each of the people that were on the show on that day to make up, and that was one of the autographs, which was really cool. So there we go. That's the story behind that autograph. These ones, I believe I wrote off to the agency for. As you can see, this is Eternal, when Louise Nerding left. So that was the members of Eternal. And here is Louise Nerding, or better known as today as Louise Redknapp. She married the footballer Jamie Redknapp. I was, well, I still like her music. I used to be a massive Louise fan, so I have got plenty of signed goodies from her, and I've met her quite a few times. So yeah, so there we go. So there's those ones. This one I wrote off to the management, and as you can tell, this is from, I think this was the management, this one, Handle Group of Companies. Well, this was on behalf of Status Quo, and as you can see, I've got the whole band's signature there, which was awesome. So I got everyone on there, including Rick Parfitt and all the others, which is really cool. And a lot of these were for when I was writing off to people. This one, son of Roy Castle. This is Ben Castle. He was on Premier Radio. This is a Christian radio. I think it's still going on at the moment. And Fiona Castle, I met at a Christian holiday thing called Easter People. So yeah, so Fiona Castle there, which is awesome. And then these are from The very old children's BBC. This is a character, funny chap, called the Anorak, who you will find out who the actor to that is in just a moment. And then we have Josie Darby, who's done a lot of TV. I think she started off on children's BBC quite a few years ago, and I'm not sure what she's doing now, to be fair, but she did quite a few bits of TV. And that moves us on to Simeon Corti, obviously a presenter of children's BBC. And then we have Mr. Chris Jarvis, again, presenter of children's BBC, and also the Anorak. He was the Anorak. So, yeah, don't ask. Just the characters that came up on children's BBC. These ones I wrote in and just asked for autographs of the presenters, and luckily I got them. And then some more from TV. Now, some of these are printed. They're not proper autographs, but these two are. We have Anne Diamond here from Good Morning. It used to be on BBC One. And Nick Owen, who also did the news as well. So that's from many moons ago. Now, these two, I believe these two are actually printed. So we have, I'm not going to be able to move it that way, so it'll have to be sideways, unfortunately. This is Diane, who most people would know from the 90s as Jet from The Gladiators. This was a Saturday show. And that is printed, and the same here with Alan Titchmarsh. Unfortunately, that is printed. So not an actual autograph, and presenter of an old TV show on BBC called Pebble Mill. Now, these were from an agency, wrote off to an agency, and I got a vast array of cards. Jenny Powell, TV presenter, kids TV presenter. She's done many shows. I don't know if she's done any filming. She used to do what was called the Wheel of Fortune. And then I'm not actually sure if this chap's still around. John, I can't remember his surname now. He was a TV presenter. I don't know if he did a game show or not. And then we have Valerie Singleton, who was one of the original Blue Peter presenters. Let's try and get this in focus, because it's not focusing, is it? Which is a right pain in the butt. Is it gonna? No. Yeah, Valerie Singleton, presenter, and also Sue Robbie, also a TV presenter. They're both properly signed. And that brings us to the Disney Club. I think this was filmed at Shepperton Studios. It's for ITV. Let me see if I can get that in a bit. That's better. So Paul Hendy, he now is a producer of theatre shows, I believe. Because when I've seen some of the Ant and Dec shows, there was one where he was involved in. I think he either produces or directs pantomimes and stuff. So there we go. And then we have Leslie Judd. Now, I'm not sure if she did Blue Peter. I can't remember now. I don't know. Her name wasn't familiar. I did look her up a while ago, but they're both original. Now, I used to be a massive Capital Radio fan, which in them days was just Capital Radio. You could only get it in London, but now it is global. It's called Global now. It used to be called Capital Radio. And I used to be a massive fan of Capital Radio, and I would go and meet some of the presenters. I'd be riding on. There's going to be a multitude of Capital Radio autographs on here. As you can tell, this one is Pat Sharp. He did one of the morning shows, and someone I used to look up to, and I was going to try and be a radio DJ because of this chap, and that is Mr. Dr. Fox, Neil Fox, who did the Pepsi chart show. Awesome chap. He's done a lot of TV stuff with music, like the Pepsi chart show and stuff like that. He also did the weekly chart show on Capital Radio. And I luckily got the chance to be in the radio station with him when he did, I think it was Kellogg's Cornflakes Breakfast Show at Capital Radio. So, absolute idol. He's a great chap. And then we have another morning show presenters. We have a lady called Zabby, who worked with the iconic Mr. Chris Tarrant. I've met him a couple of times, which has been absolutely awesome. Great guy. And then we have David Jensen. He used to do the Jensen's Drive Time at Capital Radio. These have all been sent to me in the post. So luckily I've got, proper autographs. And then we have Mick Brown. Again, one of the great DJs. I used to listen to most of these guys. And Mr. Neil Long. Fantastic. He's a great guy. I met him at what was called the Capital Radio Cafe. They used to have a cafe under Capital Radio. A story actually about this one is when I first spoke to Mr. Neil Dr. Fox on Capital Radio, I rung up for a competition, asked him for his autograph, and I actually got a picture from Neil Long for some strange reason. But there we go. Another card again from Neil Long. They used to change them every so often. So there we go. Mark Benson. Now these are all going back to about the 90s. So these are all very old Capital Radio DJs. And then we have Martin Collins. He does a lot of voiceovers as well for adverts, etc. And then we have Mr. Russ Kane. He was doing he used to be called Eye in the Sky. For Capital Radio, used to do the weather. And Mr. Captain Love. So I've got Captain Love there. And it's going to be a bit funny next because Martin Collins and Chris Tarrant again. I'd always stick, I don't know why, but I'd always stick the same ones in here. So, and here we go. Different colours, different designs. New design for the logo. This is Mick Brown. And Margarita Taylor, she does a lot of TV presenting. She's done Away in the Sun and stuff like that. She's done all sorts, but another great presenter. And Mr. David Jensen again. There he is. And we have another one, Mr. Paul Fear. Great DJ as well. Fantastic. Now, you may have heard of this chap, Mr. Steve Penk. He used to do the, I forgot what it was called now, Capital Punishment on Capital Radio, winding up people. But he did it with John Coleshaw. It wasn't actually Steve Penk that did the wind-ups. It was a comedian called John Coleshaw. So yeah, fantastic there. And then this is the very young Mr. Chris Moyles. He I don't know if he started off at Capital Radio, but there he is. And then we have another Mr. Neil Long. You'd have thought I was a fan of Capital Radio, wouldn't you? I don't know why. And then we also have Richard Allinson. What's next? So this is the Eye in the Sky. This was a great picture. This was who was this one? I can't remember who this one was now. Photo was done by Wendy Smith. Do you know what? I can't remember who that is. Adrian Nicholas. Again, he was another person who did the weather. That was a really cool picture there. And again, another different cards. So we have again Mr. Chris Tarrant. We have Howard Hughes, who worked with Chris Tarrant on, I think it was The Breakfast Show. And a new lady that came along, Rachel Hopper. So there's those. And then we have Mr. James Cannon. Now, I think he does a lot of presenting on other stuff as well. This camera. It's not fantastic, is it? It's usually all right. Well, apart from the last few times I've done this, but yeah. And then there's Gary King. I think he's done a few presenting jobs on TV as well. And then we've got a chap who does, he did a lot of clubbing DJing on Capital late in the night, Mr. Ali B. And then we have Mr. Simon Schoolboy Phillips. I met this young man at Thorpe Park when I did, I think it was the second year. I think it was the second year I worked at Thorpe Park, which would have been in 2002. Capital Radio were live at Thorpe Park for the Fright Nights when it was starting. He was DJing with Margarita Taylor, which was awesome. So I met them. And then we have Kat Deely and Edith Bowman. So they came in, I'm not sure whether they came in around about 2000s. Can't remember now. And then another lady that came into Capital Radio, Mrs. Debbie Mack. So there we go. Debbie Mack there. And from Capital Gold, Mike Osmond and Naughty But Nice. I was listening to them once. I rang in and said, is it possible to have your autographs? And they sent them to me. So there we go. And from another DJ, from a different station, this is Chris Phillips from Kiss 100. I won a competition to go to a nightclub. He was DJing there, so I got his autograph. And then another one from Steve Faces. What a name, eh? Steve Faces from Kiss 100. So there we go. A great autograph I have here. I think this was when my brother and my auntie went to a TV show. This is Windsor Davis's autograph, which is awesome. So I've got his. Talking of printed, I wrote off to Coronation Street many moons ago, as you can probably tell by the youngness of these characters. I wrote off to Coronation Street and asked, well, no, actually, I wrote off to them asking for autographs of all the cast. And most of these, or pretty much all of these, are actually printed, which is a shame. So we have Angela Griffin. We have Chloe Newsom. I did actually watch it at this point. Charles Lawson and Beverly Callard, a well-known face. Simon Gregson and Nicholas Cochrane. Not very good with pronunciations. Sean Wilson. Some of these are still in it. Helen Worth. A very young Warren Jackson. And Jeff Hinsliff. Not sure if he's still around, actually. Thelma Barlow and Peter Baldwin. And then we have Frank Mills and Betty Driver. Michael Lavelle, Sally Watkins. Oh, sorry, Insta. Sally Watkins. And then we have Sarah Lancaster. All of these are printed, unfortunately. And Kevin Kennedy. This one is signed to me. This is from Johnny Briggs. I can't remember his name in the program. And Amanda Barry. Some of these, I think I did actually write off too. We have Sue Nichols and Brian Mosley. I'm not sure if he's still around. Elizabeth Dawn and Will Tommy. And then we have Elizabeth Bradley and Sherry Houston, who is actually one of the loose women on ITV. Hi, Gap. Hope you're doing okay. Thanks for coming in. And then we have the young Tracy Shaw, Gaynor Faye, Elaine Derbyshire, and Barbara Knox. And as I say, most of these are printed. Philip Middlemiss, Jill Summers, Denise Black. I have actually met her. She was in a film I went to, which was premiering in London. Let's see if I can just get this a bit. That's better. Denise Black and William Roach. And then we have two of Anne Kirkbride and Ian Mercer. I think that's all of those. Oh no, that's all of those. And then this was a print of all the autographs of the cast of EastEnders that I wrote to. So these ones I've actually written individually. So I've got here Barbara Windsor, obviously was in the Queen Vic. Let me just try and get this a bit better. This focus. This is a real pain. Wendy Richards. And then we've got Daniela Dembiash, who played Sarah. That's better. As you can tell, that was many moons ago. She was in My Family as well, I think it was called. And then we have Jacqueline Leonard, who was, now if I can think of his name, Paul. He was in this as well. Played his mum, Paul Nichols. He was in EastEnders, so yeah. And then we have Mark Homer. There he is just there. And Paul Bradley, who played Nigel, just there. And then we have Martine McCutcheon. And I think that's Sian Blake. I think her name is. But let me just try and get this a little bit higher because this is a pain. EastBenders. Well, the folder's making them bend. Mr. Todd Carty, classic character. And then we have Ethel Skinner, played by Gretchen. And then we've got Carly Hillman and Layla Birch. Some of these are actually, I don't know, from the 90s, I think. We've got Natalie Cassidy. And then we have Charlie Brooks, Janine. And then we got Derek Martin and Layla Morse. And then we have Mr. Adam Woodyatt, Ian Beale, and his on-screen wife, Jane. And on-screen son, Thomas Law, who played Peter. And then we have John Barden. Now, unfortunately, this isn't signed. He wasn't actually well at the time. I had a letter sent to me that he wasn't very well, but they sent me the picture, which is awesome. And then we have June Brown, Doc Cotton. And also we've got Rita Simmons and Nasty Nick, John Altman, I should say, John Altman. You have the whole cast pretty much from the 90s. Yeah, pretty much. Is Billy Mitchell, Perry Fenwick, and Emma Barton, who played Honey, and Jace Dyer. There we go. Is there more? Yes, there's more. We have John Partridge, who played Christian. His on-screen mum, Gillian Wright, and Shona McGarty, and Patrick St. Clement, who played Pat Ocher. And then we have, I don't know why I've got a couple missing from there. I don't know why that is, but Nitin Garatra. Don't know how to say that name, so I do apologise. And Mark Elliott. And I think he's gone on to do films as well. And then also we have Tiana Benjamin, There we go. And Belinda Owusu, I think that's how you say her name. She was actually in Casualty at some point. And then we have Don Gillette. I'm not sure if what he's been in since Neighbours. I think he's been in a couple of things. And then Josie Lawrence, a comedian, an actress. And Clive Parisi. He's in also I'm just trying to think what it is now. The nurse thing. What is it called? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. And then we have Nina just here. Again, this isn't focusing, which is a bit of a pain. But there we go. Is that working better? Nina? No. And we also have Adam Crossdell. He was the doctor. And then we have Jake Wood just here. Where are we? There we go. Jake Wood and his on-screen wife, Jo Joyner. And then we have Lorna Lorna Fitzgerald and Madeline Duggan. I think she's done something else as well, but I can't remember. From Bad Girls, let's just see if I can get this a bit better, because this is a bit of a pain. There we go. I've got Linda Henry, who was in EastEnders. She's also been in Bad Girls. And Cheryl Ferguson. Don't know if she's been in something else before as well. And then we have Mr. Bobby Davro, TV comedian and actor. And Ricky Groves. Let's try and bring this camera over here. That might be a bit better. That's it. And Ricky Groves. So there we go. And then we also have Angela Winter, who was... I don't think she's done anything else apart from EastEnders. And Rudolph Walker. Mr. Patrick Truman. Great character. And then we have Zira Ahmedi and Cara Twinton. Now, she was... I was about to say she was with the guy who is with... I can't get my names out now. Anyway. Dawn Swan. And now on to something else from the 90s, from The Bill. So we have Russell Bolton, who played John Bolton, which is quite weird, really. Russell Bolter. And also Sita Andrani. Now I think I've seen her when I went to the London Film Festival. Right, Simon Rouse. I don't think he's been in anything else that I'm aware of. And Andrea Mason. Let's try and get them so they're not shining. And we have Ben Roberts and Jeff Stewart. Now, I believe Jeff Stewart is now does a lot of photography, like old photography and stuff, which is pretty interesting. And then we have Holly Davidson. There she is. And Andrew Paul. I remember him in the 90s. It's a very young picture. Right. I think we've got a few more pages left, so let's carry on going through these. So, some from the good old Grange Hill. Let me just try and lift this camera up, see if it will behave now. So I want to try and get as many in the actual picture. So I have got Stephen Mamet, who played Dudley, and Alan Cave, who played Dennis. Let's see if I can get this moving over this way a bit more, and I can get more in. Abigail Hart as Paula, and Nina Fry as Robin. And these are from the 90s. Emma Pearson, who's been in quite a few TV shows, and Kate Bell, who played Kelly. And then we have some from Blue Peter. So we have Mr. Tim Vincent. I believe he does a bit of radio, or did. And then we have, now I can't think of her name now. I can't even read what the name is now. But, Kate. Katie Hill. Katie Hill from Blue Peter. And then we have Stuart Mills from Blue Peter as well. And again, these were sort of in the 90s. Now, these are printed, unfortunately. This was again from the 90s, and this is from the TV show, as you can see here, The Big Breakfast. And this was Lily Savage, also known as, I can't think of his name, but unfortunately he's passed away, Mark Little and Zoe Ball. And then also this one here from Richard somebody, I think he did Children's BBC as well. And then I had a nice little note from the company that sent it. And then I had a couple of autographs from magazines. So this is from the Smash Hits. I can't remember who this was. I think it's Kate somebody, but I can't remember who, which really helps not. This is from the old pop magazine called Big. And I think it was the editor, Hannah. And this is another editor, Dominic. This is from Top of the Pops magazine. I think he's now to do with managing and that with TV, with agencies and that for celebrities. His name's Peter. And this was from a TV show. He was on the panel, and I think this was Lee Hurst, the comedian. And here we go back onto, this is Premier Radio again. This is from a presenter called Cindy Kent's. And this is going to be really good because I can't actually remember who this is. But another DJ, I think it was, from Premier. And this is the founder of Premier Radio. This is from Rob Frost. He started up Premier Radio. And then an autograph here from Martin Mitchell. I can't even remember who that was, but yeah, Martin Mitchell. And then we've got one from GLR. I can't remember who this is. I don't know if it's Robert somebody. Can't remember. And then we can finish off here. Again, I can't fully remember who these were. I think this is Jenny Costello. I think it is, but I can't remember who that was. So that's really, really helpful, I know. But just shows that I should mark them to so people can see who they are. So I can't remember who that one was, but never mind. But that completes my first folder of autographs, and that has been half an hour. So I hope I haven't bored anyone. I have 2 people watching on YouTube, which is amazing, and I thank you for sticking with me as I go through these this folder. I'll have to get the other folder out and get that ready for possibly next week. Just going to put all these back. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing all those. And as I usually say at the end of what's that? You always have cool stuff to show. Well, thanks, Gap. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and click the bell notification. That will let you know each time I am on live. Most of the stuff I show is live. It's kind of easier as well, and also I get the interaction with people on here. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and click the bell notification, as I just said. And if you're watching on Instagram, please just follow. And if you've got both, please do the same with both. That would be fantastic. If you have any questions about collecting autographs, how to go about it, where to go, what to do, where to write off, then I'm more than happy to answer any questions either now or if you're watching this later on. I will try and answer them as best as I can. It took me a while to find out about obviously the celebrity agencies and stuff. I didn't know how to contact anyone or anything like that, and I've gradually found out stuff. Hopefully it's still available. And as you know, I go to premieres every so often and I get them from there as well. So yeah, so that's just about it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't know if he's broadcasting today. I hope he is. For the last couple of weeks, I've advertised Salacious Rum's channel because he does brick builds and brick babes. Have a good afternoon, Pete. Thank you, Gap. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, please come along to his channel, which is in about 25 minutes over on Salacious Rum's channel, 3 o'clock. Lego brick. Get it right in a minute. Lego Studs and Brick Babes. Hopefully he'll be on this week because I sent you over there last week and he didn't come on for whatever reason. We don't know what happens in other people's lives. So if he isn't on today, I'm sure someone else will bring something on. Yeah, I'll hopefully be over there in the chat. I didn't see a listing for Rom today. Okay, well he might be on, he might not be. If he is, then fantastic. Go over there and give him a shout out. So until next week, I can't think that there is anything different happening, but I will either bring some toys on the show or more autographs, and it also depends on actually what is happening next Sunday. But as usual, I should be on around 3 o'clock, so hopefully see you then. Take care and look after yourselves and enjoy the weather.